It is actually 1,000 degrees here in Berlin. It's gotten so hot. We had frost last week and now it's summer. I'm told it'll get cooler again very soon, maybe next week, but I'm enjoying it. I spent all of today outside. It has made painting a little bit more difficult though. The paint just dries on the wet palette almost immediately. That can be frustrating sometimes. I guess I'll have to play around with how much water I put in there now. Today I've got some minis to show you that I think you'll really love. I really love them. Da, 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 da. I have done a big print load. I've gotten all of these guys printed. These are the Bellwoken by Ben Bam Works on Instagram. Man, he is a really talented sculptor. He's just gotten started with this, but he's made some incredible miniatures. I mean, look at this guy. He's great. He's awesome. Look at that smile. Yeah, so what these are is they're like tiny little bell guys. They're sort of like automaton warriors or like little alien guys. And they've got a big musical influence. I love that there's these giant minis as well that are really cool. And these sort of walkers with blasters that look like trumpets. The Bellwoken are such a cool concept for an army. And so I talked to Ben because he is launching a crowdfunding campaign for these. The link is in the description if you want to get these guys, check it out. So I'm gonna paint some of them and test out a little color scheme to paint a little force of these guys maybe in a future video. I've bought the Pro Acryl metallic paints that I want to try out. Since these guys are basically all metal, I thought that could be pretty cool. So we'll test those as well. All right, let's get painting. So here's the Pro Acryl paint set that I got. These are all of the metallic colors that are part of their paint range. And I really wanted to try these out. I'm always on the lookout for new paint ranges to discover, and I like the Pro Acryl paints I've already got. So especially this bronze, I want to try to replicate the actual bronze objects that I've got laying around on my desk and around my workspace. And so it's always a great idea to take some pictures of real life or have an object nearby to see if your colors are accurate. Now for the bases, I decided I would try two different schemes. So I've got the sort of classic goblin green scheme that I did for my turnip army, and then I've got the more standard gray bases that I do for most of my other fantasy models. And I just started with those to see in the end which one I liked best. And you'll have to tell me in the end which one you like best. Now this bronze, it's actually a really nice color. These metallic paints, they're sort of thicker than some of the other ones I've tried, but they're definitely thinner than Citadel paints. And they've got great metallic sheen. The particles inside are very fine, and so they're great, really convincing look. The gold, the coverage wasn't great. I think my primer was sort of hydrophobic, and so that didn't help, but it looks great in the end. And then from there, because these models are really nice and simple sculpts, there's only really a few more bits to base coat. So you've got those sleeves that I decided to paint purple, which is going to be my accent color, and then some details that I painted black, and then the wood, which I decided was going to be a sort of drab or brownish color. And then all of the rest of the details, I base coated those black. When you've got gems or eyes, it's always a good idea to paint those a dark color at first, because then you won't have to do sort of a dark outline later on. You can just leave that color showing around the recesses, and that'll give you sort of instant shading in the end and really make those details pop. Now for this guy, I used some iron or steel color for the main body, as I wanted him to be a little bit different. I also went ahead and I bought these 3 washes. These are the only washes that are inside this paint line. And that's a very limited range. But to be fair, there's a brown, a black wash, and a sort of red fleshy wash. And these are sort of, well, the washes I use the most for sure. And so for this model, I really wanted to test those, and I just washed all of it with that brown wash. I think brown works great over purple, it works great over gold, works great over bronze, works great over other browns. And so this was a great opportunity to just paint the whole model with one single wash. And then for this first bronze highlight, I mixed the original bronze color with the lighter bronze color that is part of the set, and it created a really nice bronze highlight color as a first step. And then for the gold, I just took the lighter gold straight out of the paint bottle, and the brown wash really makes this gold have a really deep and rich luster in the shadows, and this is a great light gold to highlight gold with. I really like how these edge highlights came out with this gold paint. So even though it's sort of a more cartoonish or I don't know, like exaggerated yellow gold, I really like it, and I'm picky with my golds. Now for the steel and the silver on this little guy, I did use my Vallejo Metal Colors silver. It's just too good not to use. And then I painted the eyeballs, and you want to paint these with a sort of medium to light gray. Don't paint your eyes white, it'll look really off and weird. And then I use my purple, which is the main accent color, and I paint all of these little gems and the irises of the eyes. And then inside of the irises, I paint a lighter purple, and I use that same color to paint the initial highlights inside of all of those gems. And so for gemstones, really the important part is you want to sort of decide where your light is coming from. So I decided it's going to be coming from the top right, and then you want to paint your highlights on the opposite side of the gem, because the light is actually passing through the transparent object and showing on the opposite side. And so that's how you get that really nice sort of lustrous shining gem effect, by sort of building up a highlight in the opposite corner and having a really dark corner exactly where your light is going to be. And then this is the last step that really makes those pop, is you place a little dot of white or near white exactly next to that really dark spot in the upper corner. And this dot is also really important for eyes, to really give them the life, sort of life light that we've got in our eyes. And that really is important for humans to connect with a creature, is to see that shining light. So if you're painting undead, you just leave that out. That's a little tip right there for you. Now, with this wood, it's important that you really take your time and highlight all of the little wood grain, because that's what makes wood look like wood. Now, another interesting thing here, I highlighted these gloves with a sort of a mixture of my base paint and then a lighter brown, but then for the final edge highlight or dot highlight on these brown leather gloves, I used Karak Stone, and this is the same color I used to dry brush the base, and I'm going to use the same color to do the final highlights on the wood. And that's a great way to make your model look cohesive, by using the same paint in multiple areas. And that is all of the painting done. Now, before I show you the glamour shots, I did want to take a second to thank the members of the channel. Channel memberships are a feature on YouTube where you can sign up for like a monthly subscription. You pay like $5, you support the channel, and then you get a whole bunch of perks. And you also get access to exclusive videos that I make just for members. And they're like hours long, where me and my sibling Felix, we go and we review and rank all of the Age of Sigmar factions in a tier list. It's like a sort of a long format podcast type of a thing. It's a fun time, and it takes a lot of work, and I do it just for members. But most importantly, at any level of membership, you get to join our Discord server. And there's some amazing people on there. It's like a little community where we share our work in progress shots, and I give you little sneak peeks at upcoming videos. I do like polls on there. So if you've been enjoying my videos, maybe consider joining and supporting the channel. I really, really appreciate all of you that already did. You are the ones that allow me to just buy like the Pro Acryl metallic paints to try out in a video like this, buying like new lights and new turntables and all of the equipment that goes into making these videos. It's a very expensive hobby already. If you film it, it gets even more expensive. So thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. All right, enough of that. Let's look at these miniatures. love these little goobers. They're so fun. These were incredibly easy to paint because they're so simple, but they have so much character. There's so much character in these. Once you sort of fill in those eyes, they really come to life. They're just so cute, even though they've got like no real faces. I just really like them. Oh, let me know. Tell me what you think though. Green bases, Goblin Green classic bases, or do you like the more sort of modern gray bases that I do for all of my other minis? I'm having a hard time deciding. I like both. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Because I can imagine having a whole little army of these guys in the Goblin Green. It could be fun. It fits with the sort of more charming and cheerful vibe of these guys. That's cool. But I don't think it's necessary. The other bases could work as well. Leave a comment. Team Green or Team Gray? Do you want to see me paint up all of the other minis that I showed at the beginning of the video? I think those big ones could be really interesting. And also I do kind of want to see a whole bunch of these lined up. I think that would be really cool. Sort of a little regiment. I've got like 6 of each of these little 6 trumpet guys and 6 sword guys. And I think like 12 more of the tiny ones with the little berserker fists. And they paint up pretty quickly. Once I've got that, now that I've got the scheme down, I think I could knock them out pretty quickly. And I do like the thought of not having those unpainted miniatures clogging up my backlog again. So let me know if you'd be interested in that. So these minis that I've painted, they are in 32mm scale. Ben did say that he was thinking about changing it to 28, so they'd be a little bit smaller. Right now they are kind of chunky. I mean, it's nice, makes them easy to paint, but they are a bit big next to other miniatures. So I think having them a little bit smaller could be nice. But if you get the STLs, I mean, you can always just scale them up or down depending on your own personal needs and preferences, right? So I don't think that'll be a problem. I'm looking forward to hearing your opinion. Do you like these guys? I mean, you've got it, right? They're so cute. I don't think anybody's not gonna like these guys. But what really interests me is what would you use them for? Is there maybe like a D&D monster that could be like a good analog for these guys? Do you have an idea for like an encounter or an adventure that I can use these in my TTRPG groups? That would be interesting. Okay, don't forget, the link to the campaign is in the description. So if you like these guys, you can go and get some yourself. You can follow Ben on Instagram. I'm sure he'll be happy to hear your thoughts. You can let him know if you've got any ideas for future factions. I know he's super prolific and he's already hard at work with some other stuff. I love being able to showcase indie sculptors and sort of up and coming miniature makers on the channel. There's like an incredible breadth of creative talent out there in our hobby. With 3D printing and resin casting and metal casting at home, and now companies like Archon Studio getting into like the actual injection molded plastic production, there's just like a staggering variety of miniatures that you can get from everywhere for like really good prices, and you get like these crazy bulk deals on crowdfunding campaigns like this one. It may be a tough time globally right now in general, but it really is a golden age for our hobby. So really happy to have such a cool project on the channel. Once again, excited to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, stay safe, stay kind, and stay strong. Bye bye.